You ever had a teacher who was completely wrong about their own subject? My English teacher, Mrs. Miller, insisted that irregardless was a proper word and got absolutely furious when I politely suggested it wasn't real. Excuse me? I've been teaching English for 22 years, young lady. Irregardless is absolutely a legitimate word. It means without regard to something. She marched over to the whiteboard and wrote it in bold capital letters like she was carving it into stone. Then she made our entire class copy it into their vocabulary notebooks while glaring at me. When I tried raising my hand again to explain that regardless was the actual word, she completely shut me down in front of everyone. Do not correct your teacher when you are demonstrably wrong. This is exactly why students struggle with proper English. You think 5 minutes on Google makes you smarter than educators with actual degrees. The whole class turned to stare at me like I'd just claimed the sky was bright green. My best friend Jasmine was frantically texting me under her desk. OMG, just drop it please, you're totally embarrassing yourself right now. But I couldn't drop it because I knew with absolute certainty that I was right, and it was driving me completely insane. For the next 3 weeks, Mrs. Miller kept deliberately using irregardless in sentences and would glance at me with this smug, satisfied expression. She'd say things like irregardless of what some students think while looking directly at me. She even put it on our weekly vocabulary quiz with the definition without regard to despite. I stared at that question for 10 minutes before reluctantly writing down her wrong answer because I needed the points. Kids started whispering about me being the girl who argues with teachers about basic English. My grades started slipping because she was clearly grading my papers harder than everyone else's. She'd mark off points for the tiniest things. I began seriously doubting myself. Maybe I was the crazy one? Maybe I'd been wrong about English my entire life? The worst part was lunch. Kids would mock me by saying irregardless extra loud when I walked by their tables. Even Jasmine started distancing herself because she was embarrassed to be seen with me. Then came our final essay assignment worth 30% of our semester grade. The topic was, describe a time you overcame adversity. I wrote about my grandmother's battle with cancer and used regardless in my conclusion paragraph. She handed back essays the next week with mine on top of the stack, making a huge show of it. There was a giant red circle around regardless with a note scrawled in angry handwriting. Incorrect word choice. See me after class immediately. My stomach dropped. This could seriously hurt my GPA and my chances of getting into honors classes next year. After everyone filed out, she pulled out the thick, official-looking dictionary to prove me wrong once and for all. Her hands were actually shaking with righteous indignation. Now we're going to settle this ridiculous argument permanently, she announced, flipping through pages with confident, dramatic flair. You've disrupted my class long enough with your arrogance. She found the page and her finger traced down the entries with theatrical precision. Here we go. Irregardless. Then her face went completely pale, like ghost white. She stared at that page for what felt like 30 solid seconds, her mouth slightly open. The definition read, irregardless, non-standard, criticized as an error. Use regardless instead. The silence in that classroom was absolutely deafening. You could hear the clock ticking on the wall. She quietly closed the dictionary and set it down on her desk without making eye contact with me. Her whole body language changed instantly from confident to deflated. You may go to your next class now, she whispered, still staring at her desk. The next morning, she made an announcement to our entire first period class about updating our vocabulary to reflect current usage standards and never mentioned irregardless again. She also changed my essay grade to an A+ and gave me extra credit points that bumped my semester grade up a full letter. But the best part? Word spread fast about what happened. By lunch, kids were coming up to me apologizing for giving me grief. Jasmine felt so bad she bought me ice cream. Mrs. Miller was noticeably nicer to me for the rest of the year, and I swear she double-checked everything she wrote on the board after that.